You ever go to the bourbon drop, you realize, man, I just missed it, but I got to go home with a nice bottle of something? Well, we're going to give you the top 6 that we think are good shelfer bottles. Stick around.
After this. All right, welcome back, and please subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't already. It really helps out our channel as we're trying to grow.
Yeah, let us know what your top 6 shelfers are.
I'll go ahead and get started.
All right.
So my first one is a rye. I'm a big rye fan, you know that. So this is one of my favorite shelfer ryes. Sagamore Spirits Double Oak. It's got a very nice, sweet, spicy taste to it. And even though it's a lower proof, even though it's 96.6 proof, it's not real high proof. It actually has a really nice finish in it because it's double oaked. It coats your mouth. It lingers. It's got a really nice taste for a rye. It's not the dill or grassy rye. It's very sweet, sweet but minty, and it's definitely up there as one of my favorite shelfers.
All right, well, let's see what we got here. I guess I'll stick with the rye pen here. So I used to not be into ryes as much, but then I started distilleries ryes. Some of you may know I like Michter's, and although this is a lower proof at 84.8 proof, they're 103 barrel entry proof. To water it down to that proof doesn't really dilute it as much. So I usually get a good mouth flavor out of this for a rye, and if you are looking to get your ryes, I highly recommend this. Try. That is my top shelfers.
All right. So sticking with the theme of like a double oak, double barreled, Old Forester 1910. In a previous video, this was my favorite starter pour. I think it's one of the best shelfers out there.
It's really good.
It is so just caramel and brown sugar, and it's got a nice thick mouthfeel. Even though it's a lower proof, again, these are both more of a starter pour, but if you like just to have a gentle, easy sipper, it's hard to beat either one of these. And 1910 for me is a home run.
Yeah, starter pour, dessert pour, end of the night pour, quite good. That was one of my kind of this or that, but so for me, I went with the 1920 Old Forester because I like a little bit more proof. I think it has just a little bit more robustness to it, although the flavors are very right there neck and neck. Maybe a little bit sweeter, but a little bit hotter. It's kind of one of those, whatever you are in the mood striking for. They're both pretty good.
And I can't argue the 1920. That really was right between this and the 1920, kind of fell right on there for me. So 1920 is fantastic pour. My next one is Jack Daniels Single Barrel Barrel Proof. So hard to beat as a daily sipper. It's just in our blind we just did with an allocated versus shelfer. This is our shelfer, beat up the Blanton straight from the barrel. So I can't speak highly enough about it for a whiskey, and it's all around. It's got great mouthfeel. It's got great flavor. It's got a great nose. It's got a great finish. Yeah. It's just there's nothing wrong with it. It's just fantastic all the way around.
Around $70, you really can't go wrong with it. And usually, depending on the area, it's available.
Yep.
Well, same, but different. I went with the rye because as far as ryes go, like the Michter's got me into rye. This is the one that really led me to be a big rye fan of that high, robust flavor profile, and it's still got that sweetness. So I went with the Jack Daniels Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye. I think they're quite delicious, and same reason Todd mentioned the bourbon, and the rye is quite good.
My next one, the Big Daddy Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Again, like the Single Barrel Proof Jack Daniels, it's got flavor, it's got the nose. The flavor is a different profile. You get more cinnamon and oak and a sweet and sour off of the Rare Breed, and you get more like the kind of banana and sweetness off of the Jack Daniels, but they're both home runs all the way around. They're both reasonably priced, and they're both readily available on the shelves, and you can't either one as a pour at any time. So there you go, Rare Breed.
You can go wrong to a tasting, not a Rare Breed. So,
yep.
Well, I'll keep the birds same coop here, I guess. Wild Turkey 101. Very well-rounded bourbon. Neat cocktails, 25-ish bucks. Comes in a glass bottle, so you can't go wrong. And it's quite good. I mean, if you don't want the proof of the rare breed / the double the price, then go with the 101. If you want that full flavor, full body, and mouthfeel of that rare breed, then go with the rare breed. But it's kind of one of those, if you want to do more cocktail mixers versus neat, then here we are.
All right, yeah, fantastic pick. My next one, Redwood Empire Pipe Dream Cast Strength. So in one of our earlier videos we compared it to a Four Roses limited edition, and while the Four Roses limited edition came out on top, it wasn't by as much as the price difference between the bottles.
Yeah.
For the price, what you get, this is an amazing bottle. It is one of my favorite releases from 2023, and in my opinion, it's the best of the Redwood Empire Cast Strength series, and it's one of the best shelfers out there.
Pretty good. I think what I quoted last time. So, going back towards the Wild Turkey profile, I also want the Russell Single Barrel. Usually it's available on shelves. It's kind of like one of those, which three of these do you want? I mean, you want the 116 and change proof, barrel proof. You want the slightly picked, kind of unpicked single barrel of the Russells, or you want the more just like versatile 101. So I went with that. If your store has a pick, I would go with that as an option, depending on their price points or warehouses or age or whatever your palate goes for. But you really can't go wrong with these, and yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I really like the private barrel picks, and the single barrel is also good. So yeah, it's hard to beat the Russell's line or the Wild Turkey. So. My last one, my number one sitting on the shelf bottle. You already picked it. Jack Daniels Single Barrel Proof Rye. In my opinion, this was the best rye release last year. And it's one of the best ryes, period, especially when you get them at the higher proof points, when you're looking at like the 130 to 138, 139. I think 138.9 is my highest. They are just a flavor bomb. The finish lasts forever, and they're just amazing. As someone who loves ryes, that was probably my favorite rye sitting on the shelf by far. And my favorite, if I was going to pick one bottle, that would be it. So that's my favorite.
Yeah, I didn't have these in any like particular order, but that one is really good. I'm going to do one quick honorable mention. Depending on your store or where you're at, if you're a military base, sometimes they don't really have all the accoutrements, have standard bases, or different stores have different spots. But Maker's Mark, the 46 cast strength, or just the regular cast strength, I think is a very good blend of like that wheated profile along with that higher proof. Usually around 110 proof, give or take, but I think it's a good honorable mention for the category. But my last pick, I'm not going to say it's the best one. I'm not going to say it's the worst, but it's one I mentioned previously that does very well in blinds for me, and apparently always just knocks my socks off when I find out what it is. It is the Chattanooga 111. It just does very well all the time in blinds. It's a good pour, neat. You can use it as a cocktail if you mix it as you want, but for $46 and change, at least in my area, I feel like it's not really talked about as much, but it's quite delicious.
All right, so there you go. That from each of us, our picks for the top 6 shelfers that should be readily available in most areas. So let us know what you think. What's your favorite sitting on the shelf where you live? And until then, the next time, remember the best bourbon or whiskey.
The one you like the most, or is on your shelf.
Yep, there you go. We'll see you.